So the approach that we are taking is step-by-step approach. Actually, we will start with the web application once we get familiar with Selenium. So people who are familiar with Selenium, they start with web application. They take test cases. Manual test cases will already be there. So this is the state in your office right now. Right? So you have web application, you have test cases for that. Next thing to learn is, okay, these are some example web applications. Can you imagine how many test cases Google search engine will have? How many test cases will be there for Google search engine? Approximate number. 500 plus. Okay.
Maybe thousands.
In thousands.
5,000 plus.
5,000 plus. Yeah, because features are enormous. If you see, when we search for a query, on the bottom pagination comes. Pagination will have certain test cases. So there will be some queries which result only small number of test cases, small number of ranking results. Then related to ranking, there will be test cases. If we mistype a query, it corrects that. Did you mean this, or it says like showing results for Selenium. So auto completion is there. We start typing, auto completion comes. Now the auto completion is of recent queries or not. So test cases related to that. Then Google is there in multiple languages. Google has a voice box also. We can do voice search. There is a mic that comes. Apart from that, we can be logged in. If we are logged in, all our previous history is picked up. Some test cases related to that. So there will be dedicated teams to test one feature. So number of test cases will be maybe thousands or more than that. So this is a very complex web application, and they keep adding features to it. So all these test cases are automated. So whenever a new feature is added, previous test cases should work perfectly fine. So one example is this Google search engine. Another is Amazon e-commerce site. They also have a lot of departments. Then shopping cart will be there. Order tracking is there. Then there will be some deals, some gift cards. So a lot of features here. We can have our account. In our account, how many will be in order history. Yeah, we can go to our history. We can track our order. We can cancel the order. How many test cases for Amazon? For ordering books, there will be separate. For electronics ordering. So again, this is also a very complex application, and these are the ones that we have used more than once in our lifetime, and we interact with these kind of things. So here in India now we interact more with Flipkart rather than Amazon, but that is also similar. Third example is a banking application. So there also fixed deposit we can open and close. We can transfer funds. We can use reward points. We can check our balance. We can update our address, our mobile number. So even this application will have a lot of test cases. So basically we interact with those web applications using Selenium. So right now we are exploring this piece. So once we are done with Selenium, so today kind of we will be winding up our Selenium part. After that we will be able to move to a web application, and we'll start thinking about the test cases, and we will have some test cases automated. Apart from winding up Selenium, mostly if not today, in tomorrow's class we'll also discuss execution engine, because when our number of test cases become more than 10, right now the approach we are taking is we have a test runner. In that we create object of our test case and we add it there. So like that, if we keep on adding test cases every time, we have to modify our code, which is not a good approach. If we add 2 more test cases, we don't need to modify much code. At runtime it should pick our new test cases. That is where our test ng will help. So today or tomorrow, this week we'll achieve that goal also, that we will have an execution engine ready, and we will start seeing the results. Test results will come out. So that is what we want to achieve till this. After that, the end goal is like when we want to build our framework, we'll remove dependency of our test cases from Selenium and we'll start building a framework. In framework we will need a logger, because as part of our test code we want to do logging also, because when a test case fails, we go through our logs and see what series of actions we were taking, where it reached, what the details were till that point. So we also put page source code in our logs, so that whenever a failure occurs we can go and look at our logs. Then there will be some portion in the framework which will be data handling. we may want to run some test cases where username and password is stored in either a text file or XML file or Excel sheet. So we want to have a module in our framework which does the data handling part. Then there is a concept called page object model in Selenium. So basically, whenever we build a framework, it is said for our web application, each web page should be converted into a corresponding class, and our test cases should be using page object classes. So we'll see that also. Then there is a configuration handler. Today we will talk about, briefly we will talk about configuration. These are the common set of pieces of our framework. Some common settings that we want to keep, like the URL of homepage, URL of search page, all that is standard. Every time we don't need to hard code into the code. If a lot of test cases are using the same URL, if we keep them in one class and all of them access that, it will be good. Another benefit of keeping in one place is tomorrow, let's say our URL changes, because typically in company we first test the web application in the internal environment on intranet, then it gets deployed to some experiment, then it goes to production. So URL changing in one place, our same set of test cases will keep executing. So that is configuration. And last is we'll have some utility functions, which are repetitive things that we are doing in our test cases. Many test cases you will see they will be doing a lot of duplication. So if shopping cart related test cases we talk about in an e-commerce site, even they require a login functionality. Login related tests require login functionality. Order tracking also requires login functionality. So every time, rather than writing the complete login code, where search for username, search for password, we can have one common function which everyone can use. And ultimately we want email report. So actually this is our end goal, but we are progressing towards our end goal gradually, step by step.